Dropshipping. It's the online business model that we see touted so frequently now online as being a fast, easy way to generate large amounts of money in a short period of time. But what is it really? Is dropshipping really an effective business model? Is it something that most people will succeed at? What is actually involved? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to walk you through the dropshipping business model, how it works, the benefits of it, the downsides or the cons to dropshipping, and we'll talk about if it's something that I would personally do and if it's something I would recommend you do and why or why not. So we're going to dive deep into this one. If dropshipping is something you've been considering, you're really going to enjoy this video. We're going to dive deep. It's a no BS look at dropshipping as a business model and everything that's involved without all the fluff, filler, and hype that you see in most videos. So first and foremost, let's look at how the business model itself works. Dropshipping, in a nutshell, is where people will go to AliExpress, which is a Chinese website that sells thousands and thousands of different products at a really low price. They will go to AliExpress and find a product. Usually the criteria is that the product is small and light, meaning it's easy to post. And it's something that is either trending or something that they believe will trend with a large audience. So something that appeals to a lot of people and is something that they think will catch on easily, something that's going to be appealing to a relatively large audience. Fidget spinners are a classic example. Literally hundreds, probably thousands of dropshippers were selling fidget spinners because they met this criteria. They're a hot item, small and light, meaning postage was cheap and easy to manage. So they will go to AliExpress and find a product. Step 2 is they will set up a store using Shopify. If you're not familiar with Shopify, it's an online e-commerce platform that allows you to quickly and easily set up an e-commerce store. So they'll go to Shopify and they will set up an e-commerce store specifically to sell this product. They'll grab a logo, usually go to Fiverr, set up a logo, and that becomes their brand. And from there, they'll generally source some product images. Now, most dropshippers, what they will do, because they're starting with very, very minimal budget. So usually what they'll do is they'll take the images directly from AliExpress, or they'll go around on Google and find images of the product, and they'll use that on their product page for their Shopify store. Now, this in itself eventually causes issues because they get copyright claims and things like that on the images. So usually it's a short-term fix, but that's how dropshippers do this. They just grab images from over the web, videos if they can find them, and they use them on their product store. Now, when it comes to pricing, this is basically how the business model operates. They will look at how much the product costs on AliExpress. They will then list the product for usually 3-4 times more than that, maybe even more, on their own Shopify store. So if they pay $2 for the product on AliExpress, they might charge $8, $10, $12 from their own online store via Shopify. At that point, once they've got their Shopify store up and running, they will then go and run ads, usually Facebook ads, to that product on their Shopify store. When somebody clicks an ad, they go to the store and they purchase the ad from the dropshipper. The next thing the dropshipper does is they will go to AliExpress, purchase one of those products, and send it directly to the customer, meaning they will purchase the product from AliExpress using the customer's name and address. AliExpress will then ship that item directly from China to the customer wherever they are in the world. So the dropshipper themselves never actually touches the product. That is the business model in a nutshell. Now, the profit margins for the dropshipper are quite simply the amount that they sold the product for, minus shipping, if they didn't add shipping, minus the cost of the product. So if, let's say, the dropshipper finds a product for $2 and they sell it on their Shopify store for $12 and they have a postage cost of $2, they do free postage, so they eat that cost, and the Facebook ad costs them $5 to get that customer. They have a cost of $5 for the Facebook ad, $2 for the product, $2 for shipping, so that's $9, and they generate a $2 profit on the product. Okay, that's quite simply how this business model works. There isn't really too much more to it. Now, you can probably already see that there are several pros or benefits to this business model. So we'll start with that and then we'll talk about the downsides. The main benefit of this business model in itself is that it's very cheap and easy to set up. And that's what all of these people promoting dropshipping are going to be telling you first. It's that you can start with little money down, you can start with no experience, blah, 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 all that stuff. You've seen it all. Now, yes, that is true, because what happens is you don't have to purchase any inventory or any stock. As a dropshipper, the only time you purchase inventory is after a customer has purchased the product from you. Somebody purchases from your store, you then log into AliExpress and purchase the product. So there is no downside risk in terms of holding inventory or stock. Okay, that's the key benefit of dropshipping. It's you have very little downside risk in terms of money outlaid. The costs of getting set up, again, they're very small. The cost of a Shopify store, I think, is like $10 to $20 a month. Everything else is pretty much covered. You might have a small cost on Fiverr to get your logo developed and some branding developed, $5, $10, $20. But overall, you can get up and running with this for less than $100. It's a very cheap business to get up and running. Okay, so it's cheap to get up and running. There's no big cash outlays, no risk in terms of holding inventory. They're the two main benefits of dropshipping as a business model. All right, so now you understand the business model, you understand the pros or the reasons why somebody would get into dropshipping. Let's talk about the downsides and the cons. Why wouldn't you do dropshipping? The first one, and I think this is probably the biggest one, is quite simply that it's not something that consumers like. It's not something that is going to please your customers. And the main reason for that is because when you are drop shipping items from China, the shipping times are huge. They're 2, 3, 4 weeks for somebody to get their item. This is a problem for many reasons, but one, it creates unhappy customers. They're not going to be repeat buyers. This is a business model that relies on a pump and dump type strategy. You want to sell a lot of a hot product, one-off to customers in a short period of time. Okay, that's a big downside to this. Most of your customers are going to be unhappy with the lengthy shipping times. They're not going to come back. Reviews aren't going to be positive because of that. Okay. Now, the other part to that is that with dropshipping, the nature of this is people don't realize they're ordering from China. And that's the problem. People are thinking, they're seeing these stores and they're thinking they're buying from somebody in the US or somebody in their local country. So they purchase it expecting shipping to be reasonable, to be a few days, right? And so when it takes a long time and they realize that it's coming from China, that's going to upset the consumer. And it's just not a good business move, right? Some dropshippers will say, from what I've seen around the place, they'll say, oh, tell people, the shipping times are long. The reality is that's not what most dropshippers do. Another problem that comes from that with dropshipping is Facebook there's no other way to say this. Facebook hates it. As a Facebook advertiser, I see people coming to me all the time and they're saying, I got my account shut down. And I say, well, what's your business? Well, we're drop shipping, blah, blah, blah. Straight away, right, from that point on, there's not much I can do to help them because Facebook just doesn't like drop shipping as a business model. And the reason is, as I just explained, it's because consumers and customers don't like drop shipping. Okay, drop shipping provides a poor customer experience and Facebook values the customer experience. So if you're a business who's providing a poor customer experience and you're advertising on Facebook, Facebook are going to shut you down. They value the customer experience, and if you're providing a poor one, that's it. You're out of there. So most dropshippers you will find will have multiple Facebook ad accounts. They'll be constantly battling account shutdowns, constantly trying to start new accounts to keep their business running. Now, as you can imagine, that's just not a stable business model. If you're literally every day having problems with your main traffic source and you're getting shut down, business stops. You're getting up and running again, then a week later, business stops suddenly again because a Facebook ad account is shut down. It just doesn't work. It's just not something that you want to deal with as a business owner, right? So we know that shipping times are long, provides a poor customer experience. You're going to be dealing with Facebook ad account shutdowns on a regular basis with drop shipping. Another thing to also think about is there is no moat around this business model. You're not building a business that is defensible. There is nothing from stopping your competitors finding out or catching on to this hot product, which they do all the time. This is what happens with dropshippers. Someone figures out a great product and they're very secretive about it because they know that as soon as their competitors catch on, and when they do, they simply start selling the product. It's a race to the bottom to see who can sell the product the cheapest. Margin compression kicks in until it's no longer profitable to sell that product. And then they have to move on to the next product. So you're not building a defensible business because anyone can start one of these dropshipping businesses. That was one of the pros that I mentioned, that you can go on for less than $100, start doing dropshipping. Anyone can do that. The only skills here are finding products, like picking winning products and running Facebook ads. If somebody's got those skills, they can start up and become a competitor to you. So what's going to happen is, as a dropshipper, you find a winning product, it runs for a little while. If your Facebook ad account doesn't get shut down too many times, then you might make a bit of money out of it until the competitors come in and you've got to find a new product to sell. So it's this constant hamster wheel of finding new products. You get a rush, it dies off. You find a new product, you get a rush, it dies off ad nauseum. Okay, that's another downside of the dropshipping business model that you won't get told about. The other piece of that too is, of course, it relies on your ability to find those products. And you might have 5, 10, 15 products that you try and sell unsuccessfully and waste Facebook advertising budget on before you find one that actually catches on. So to sum that up, you're essentially just not building a lasting brand. You're not building something that has value. As soon as the product dies off or is no longer profitable, then boom, you're onto the next product, you're onto the next thing. You don't have a long-term brand. There's nothing to sell here over the long term. You're not building something of value. And I think that kind of leads nicely into the final con and what matters most to me in this. And that is, you're not adding value to the consumer or to the customer. Essentially, all a business is something that provides value to a customer or a client in exchange for money. But you're not actually adding any value at all, I believe, with the dropshipping model. Think about what you're doing. You're essentially just creating a new website, selling a product that they could already go to a website and buy, but you're selling it at a marked up price. And the only reason people are buying it is because they probably don't know that they could just go to AliExpress and buy it for a fifth of the price. They may be buying it because they know that, but the only reason they do that is because they believe that they're going to get it shipped from the US. That would be the only reason people would buy and pay 5 times more for a product if they knew they could already get it on AliExpress, right? So, I mean, there is no value add here. None at all. Unless you're bringing the products into the US or wherever you live and then shipping them faster than they can get them on AliExpress, I just don't see the value add, okay? And for that reason alone, it's why I just wouldn't go into dropshipping myself. The biggest thing for me in business is that it's something that is, providing true value, something that actually adds to the experience for a customer. And you're probably thinking, well, okay, what about a traditional brick and mortar storefront, a retail storefront? Well, essentially all they do is buy the products cheap and then sell them on at a higher price. And this is something dropshippers will use when they're saying, well, this is dropshipping. It's just like, a normal retail where they buy it at a low price and sell it at a high price. The argument against that is it's just not true, because they're buying from a wholesaler and retail customers can't go and buy from a wholesaler. A retail store also presents the product there for you to look at, touch, feel, try on, all that kind of thing. But the biggest thing there is a retail customer, whether it's an e-commerce store or a physical store, can't go and buy the products at wholesale prices. They have to buy them retail. You can't go and buy wholesale priced Apple iPhones, right? You have to buy it from a retail store. So there is a big difference there in what happens with dropshipping, where somebody can literally buy it direct, get it shipped, or they can buy it from you, get it shipped. The only difference is price, okay? Very different there, and there's just no value add in that. Now, one reason why I might do dropshipping is simply for the experience. If I wanted to get into e-commerce and I wanted to get a very low cost entry or feel for what is involved in e-commerce, then it might be worth just trying a little bit of dropshipping. Or if I'm wondering about a market, if I'm thinking, well, can I sell this product, or is it worth me building a brand around a type of product? Let's say it is fitness apparel and I want to sell fitness clothing, like workout clothing. Well, okay, maybe you start a drop shipping site and you do that for a couple of weeks to prove whether there's a market, and then you create your own fitness brand. And then you start to, design your own products, get your own products stored in a local warehouse where you can ship them out quickly, create real brand and customer loyalty and trust and everything else that comes with building a brand. But I don't think dropshipping is a long-term business. Honestly, it's more of a hustle. It's a let's try this as a can we make a bit of quick cash kind of thing. It's not a real long-term sustainable business. Okay, that's my personal view of dropshipping. That's kind of laying it all out on the table for you and sharing what's really involved, the good side and also the ugly side of dropshipping as well. So if we just wrap this up really quick, right? The good parts of dropshipping: it is low cost to get started and it is low risk, meaning you don't have to store a bunch of inventory. You can, just buy products as you sell them. Okay, they're basically the two things: quick and easy to set up, low cost, no inventory on your side. The downside list is a bit bigger. Okay, poor customer experience. You're going to struggle with Facebook ads because you're going to get your ad account shut down very, very regularly. You're going to be going and chasing your tail all the time, trying to find new products, scaling them up. Competitors will come in. You'll have to find the next hot product. Trends don't last forever, which means that a hot product isn't hot forever. So you're constantly in this cycle of finding new products, and you're not building a long-term lasting brand. Okay, you're not building a business that's going to grow over time. You might scale it up, things die, back to square one. Okay, it's going to get really frustrating. It's not going to give, personally for me, it wouldn't give me that fulfillment of creating something meaningful, something that adds value, something that's going to last. All right, they're my honest thoughts on dropshipping. I hope this has been an insightful look into the business model for you. And if you've been thinking about dropshipping, I hope it helps you with your decision-making process. If you have any questions, comments, drop them below. I'll be sure to answer them as well. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified whenever I release a new video. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.